What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with you today. It's been a little while since I've done a video. I've been doing a lot of work online lately, and I've got behind on doing my mail. I haven't really had as much come in as I was there a few weeks ago, but we're here on March the 24th, 2017, and I want to share with you a couple of things I picked up off of eBay, do a quick eBay breaks video. All of these pickups are stuff I got for my nephew, who is a giant Boston Red Sox fan. I picked up a couple of lot deals that were put up by, I believe it was Grace Memorial Church on eBay. Somebody selling a sports card collection that was donated to a church to raise money for the church, and they had little lots of cards listed, and I bid on a couple of Red Sox lots. This one right here was all 1983 Donruss, and it's a 6 or 7 card lot. This one here I paid like 36 cents free shipping for, so I really got a bargain on it. Cost them, they didn't really make any money on this lot. The seller had listed them for the church that he didn't really know what he had. Somebody donated an entire collection, so he was just putting like 5 or 6 cards up, per lot, and just seeing whatever they brought, as a whole. Had some very nice lots. Some were going for high dollar, but I got this one. And because these are some older Red Sox, my nephew, he's learning about the history of players that play for the team, and he doesn't really know a lot about a lot of the older players. And the older baseball cards help him learn about past Red Sox stars and players. These were all guys that were playing when I was a kid myself. The first one here, 83. All of these are 83 Donruss. Carney Lansford, who was a great third baseman for a lot of years, won a batting title one year. Better known for being, he was on a lot of the Oakland A's great teams of the late 80s that were a dynasty, but he was a good Red Sox player for several years. The Red Sox actually traded him because Wade Boggs came along, who was an even better hitter than Lansford, and made Lansford expendable. And this on the back of it here is a Roger LaFrancios, who was a catcher. I remember him when I was a kid, but he was pretty much a backup catcher. He backed up Rich Gedman for a few years in Boston. Never really did much in his career. This one here, Bob Ojeda, who was a very good left-handed pitcher for a lot of years. Best known for being an 18-game winner and a star pitcher on the 1986 world champion New York Mets team that after the Red Sox had traded him. He kind of struggled, was mediocre with Boston for most of the early 80s, and didn't really come into his own until he went to the New York Mets. He also pitched for the Dodgers and Indians, I believe, in his career, went on into the 90s. This next one here, Bob Stanley, a career Red Sox who pitched for the Red Sox from about the mid-70s through the late 80s. Bob Stanley was pretty much their closer back in those days, and had a lot of good years for Boston. Here's a young John Tudor. A lot of sports fans from the 80s will remember John Tudor, who was turned into an ace pitcher, but in his younger days with the Red Sox when he came up, a lot like Bob Ojeda, kind of struggled. Wasn't really that great. He didn't really come into his own either until Boston traded him. They traded him actually to Pittsburgh after he had a couple of mediocre seasons for the Red Sox in the early 80s. Had a mediocre season for the Pirates, and then Whitey Herzog got him with the Cardinals. He won like 21 games, had a 1.69 ERA, just had an unheard of season in 1985 with the Cardinals. Then he went on to have a few more good years with the Cardinals. He pitched for the Dodgers. They traded him for Pedro Guerrero in the late 80s, but arm injuries wound down his career, and he finally retired after the 1990 season because he actually, and I can quote this because I remember this from being in the newspapers, he said even though he was still a very good pitcher, he had like a 2-something ERA last year he pitched. And he wasn't that old, but he said he was retiring because he said that every time that he threw a baseball, his arm hurt so bad that it just wasn't worth the money anymore. And I guess, sometimes arm injuries do that. This next one here is a Chuck Rainey. And I don't really remember him that well, but he actually pitched several years for the Red Sox from the mid-70s on up. He had one good year, Shoshier, in 1981. The strike-shortened year, he had a pretty decent ERA, but looked like a pretty much mediocre pitcher most of his career. And here is Reed Nichols, I think is how you pronounce his name. He was basically what I would consider a fourth outfielder, although he did start for a few years. He didn't really have much power or speed, but he's a decent player. And here's Mark Clear, the last one. Mark Clear was a relief pitcher who had some nasty stuff, but he had terrible control. He pitched for the Angels, the Red Sox, and the Milwaukee Brewers. He had some success as a reliever, but he never really turned into a closer. He had high strikeout totals, but he also had high walks. I remember he had one year he had like 93 strikeouts and 70-some innings pitched, but he also walked like 77 batters. So he walked at an average of a batter an inning. You're not going to have much success like that, but teams finally gave up on him when his fastball started to lose some. The second lot I bought from the same seller from Grace Memorial Church was a 1982 Topps Red Sox lot. These are all going to my nephew, by the way, the next time I see him. The first one here, Frank Tanana, who was a star pitcher back in the 70s for the California Angels. He won over 200 games in his career. He pitched for a lot of teams, but arm injury took away his fastball, shoulder injury back in about 79. And he had a horrible year in his 1 year with Boston before signing with the Texas Rangers. And he didn't really become an effective pitcher again really until about 1984 with the Rangers. He learned how to pitch, become a crafty left-hander instead of an overpowered left-hander. Sorry about that. But Tanana was a very good pitcher, won over 200 games in his career. The first part of his career, he was a power pitcher. The second half of his career, he was a finesse pitcher that had to learn how to pitch. And this next one here, Mike Torres, long career, over 200 wins, I believe, as well. Pitched for a ton of teams, too many to name them all. Mike Torres was a great pitcher for a lot of years. He had a lot of big winning seasons when he was younger. He's most well-known, remembered nowadays, though, not just for his good pitching when he was younger on a lot of teams. He had a long career throughout the whole 70s, early 80s. But he beamed a shortstop named Dickie Thon in 1984 that was a young star player that looked like he was going to be a great. And Dickie Thon was never the same after the beaning. Lost vision pretty much altogether in one eye. Tried to make a comeback after he got his vision back so-so in that eye, but he never was the same player. Here's another Bob Ojeda. This would be Ojeda's second-year card, 82 Topps. And here's another Carney Lansford. Nice version. And actually on the back of this one, the other card was an 84 Topps John Tudor with the Red Sox. So some nice older Red Sox. All these cards are pretty much near mint-to-mint condition. Some nice older Red Sox for my nephew to add to his collection, as I've been trying to help him get together team sets of all the older Red Sox from different years. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Both of those lots together, I got them for less than $1 altogether. One of them was only 30 cents. The other one, I mentioned altogether, I got these for about 70-some cents. Free shipping. Can't beat that. Anyway, you never know what you'll find on eBay. Keep your eyes open for bargains. You can find some nice cars to add to your collection or to your kids, or like in my case, my nephew. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll be back soon again with more videos.